on the way down, on the drive down to White Plains to visit you today, I couldn't help but think of your visit to the River's End bookstore and how meaningful that was to me as a new bookstore owner. Very, very much, green, 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 and how that has sort of stayed with me all these years, and I think contributed to my involvement in and support of ABA. And so I want to thank you personally for that visit.
Well, I remember that trip to Oswego, and part of the thing about my job that has been so extraordinary all these years is to have had the opportunity of visiting hundreds and hundreds of stores all across the country and to see firsthand the way they play and the role they play in their communities, and seeing you there in those early years in Oswego, and of course now knowing about how that store has grown and how integral it's become to the Oswego community brings a smile to my face. I'm thrilled for you and glad that that early trip resonated with you. It certainly did with me.
Thanks, Oren. Let's fast forward just about 3 years ago. We were wrestling with the whole idea of succession, if our son would return to the bookstore, and it was a conversation that you and I had that with your, I would say, not subtle encouragement, you're saying, get him to Winter Institute in Denver. That will tip the scale.
Yeah. Look, there's no doubt that one of the things that gives me a great deal of optimism about the state of indie bookselling in the United States are all the young people who have come into the business, have taken over stores like has happened with you. It gives me a lot of sense of optimism about the future. The good news is the torch is being passed in many ways, not just with me, but certainly in stores. And I think that bodes well for the future. So I was delighted for you at River's End that this has happened. And the good news, as I say, it's happening all over the country.
It is. And you're in large part responsible for that.
That's very kind. I appreciate that.
So any advice that you have for this new generation of bookseller that is so prevalent in our audience today?
Look, I think that the most important thing that's happened, certainly over the years that I've been in this job, and I think is continuing to happen, and what I hope will continue to happen, is that booksellers have figured out how to adapt and how to change. Look, our world is changing radically. Everything about the way our businesses operate is different. The way our customers behave, the way technology has impacted every single thing that we do. So that for us, the way that we're able to continue to be relevant, the way we're able to continue to compete is by willing to adapt and to change. And I think my best advice is to people in this business is to don't be afraid of those changes. Don't be scared that maybe tomorrow you are going to have to do something slightly differently than the way you've done it today. Be willing to adapt. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of at ABA is that what we've tried to do here all these years is to create an environment where stores have a comfort zone in changing and trying new things and doing things differently to acknowledge the way the world is changing. So be willing to change, be willing to adapt, build on the past. I don't think we ought to throw the past out by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think understanding that you've got to be willing to change is at the centerpiece, the center of being able to be successful moving forward.
Thank you, Oren. I'd say that you're headed for a big change yourself at the end of this year. We wanted to make sure that NAIBA honored your 30 years of contributions to independent bookselling and your last 10 years as CEO of ABA in leading the change that we've all experienced over the past 10 years. And with that in mind, on behalf of all the NAIBA members, independent booksellers, publishers, so like everyone who's part of the NAIBA family, we wanted to present you with NAIBA's 2019 Legacy Award for all of your contributions. Thank you so very, very much.
Well, Bill, I thank you. I thank you for your friendship. I certainly thank the NAIBA board, my good friend Eileen, who I've had the privilege of working with now for most of those 30 years. And I am honored that you're singling me out to give this award. It does mean a great deal to me, but I really want to accept it on behalf of every one of us at ABA. I've had the extraordinary opportunity to work with an incredible group of professionals on the ABA staff. The volunteer leadership that we've had at ABA these years has been exemplary, and I know you honoring me, but by extension, you're honoring all of them. And I thank you. It has been a privilege to have worked with you, with NAIBA all these years, and I look forward to the next 30.
Terrific, Orrin. Thank you so very, very much.